What's up, kids? Your boy's back. A day late. I know I said I was going to do it. I was going to record some more last night, but then I didn't. But I said I was going to do it either last night or tonight. So it's tonight. Here I am. I'm going to talk about divisions, make predictions for who's going to win each division. So in January, when all my picks are wrong, you guys can come back and tell me how stupid I am. And you know what? That works. So, anywho, we're going to start AFC. And you know what? Let's start up top. We're going to start AFC East. Brady's gone. I don't think the Patriots are going to win it. If you've kept up with me at all, you will know that I'm not huge on Cam Newton. To me, he's been pretty pedestrian most of his career. He had that one great year where he won MVP, and then they got to the Super Bowl, and he, if you'll pardon the pun, he was not able to jump on his opportunity, if you will. Since then, he's been really, really mediocre. There was the one year the Panthers went back to the playoffs a couple of years later, and they got bounced by the Saints, and that was a great game, that playoff game, by the way. But even then, Newton himself wasn't stellar, I guess you could say. I don't know. I've always figured since that one year, he's been average, very, very average. Now, how will Bill Belichick change that? I don't know. But there's also a big injury concern. So who knows what happens. And if he does get hurt, I don't know anything about Jared Stidham. So who knows? The Bills, I think, are going to be really, really good again this year. I think Allen's going to take a step up. He's got a brand new receiver to throw to. Diggs is a really good receiver. I certainly don't see their offense going backwards. I think their offense can only go upwards from last season, and their defense is not going anywhere. I think their defense is going to be elite again this year. So I'm looking for the Bills to win the AFC East. The Jets, I don't think are going to be great. I'm looking at maybe 5-6 wins for them. The Dolphins, I think, depending on their schedule, I don't know exactly what games they play, who they play. The Dolphins have picked up a lot of people this offseason. The Jordan Howard signing was great. The Byron Jones signing was great. I don't know. I feel like the Dolphins could surprise some people. Not win the division by any stretch. Not unless Fitzpatrick comes out and is balling, which is possible. He's done it before. But I think we're probably going to see Tua by definitely the halfway mark. I'd say definitely by week 8. I could see them going like 8-8 though, honestly. But we'll see. So I've got the Bills winning that division. I'm thinking they go 10-6, 11-5 maybe. Again, I don't know what their schedule is. That's just a random shot in the dark. But I do think they're going to win the division. So let's move down to the South. AFC South. It's going to be a 3-team race. I don't see Jacksonville being that great. Minshew looked decent, but not revolutionary, unless you count his mustache. And the Jags don't have tremendous skill position players. I don't have a problem with Cole and Westbrook and DJ Chark, but I just don't think they're not put you over the top in any means. Their O-line is pedestrian. Fournette's gone. Now, TJ Yeldon was gone last year. I don't know what their tight end situation looks like. Most of their defensive pieces are gone. I just don't see them being at like 4 or 5 wins maybe. But the other three teams, I think it's going to be exciting. The Texans are going to be really good. I know they lost Hopkins, but I still think they're going to be really good because Watson is really, really good. The only thing I think that's going to hold him back is Bill O'Brien because Bill O'Brien's a moron, but whatever. I think they could be really good in spite of Bill O'Brien. The Titans, I think, are going to be really good again. It was nice to finally see Tannehill have a breakout season after I've spent years and years and years and years telling people that Tannehill is a good quarterback. He was just on a really crappy system in Miami, take him away from Adam Gase, and look what happens. Now, he had a good supporting cast. They've got good young talent at receiver. Their O-line's taking a bit of a hit this year because I believe they lost Jack Conklin, and that'll be a bit of a kicker for them. Derrick Henry, obviously, is a beast. And their defense is scrappy. I think the Titans have a good shot at winning the division again. The Colts, it's going to come down to Phillip Rivers, obviously. How much does he have left in the tank? I think he's got at least another good season under his belt. Maybe 2, depending on how they do this year. I could see him maybe retiring after this year, unless they make the playoffs, make a run. I think the Titans are going to win it. I think the Colts are definitely going to be contenders, but they could be bad. The Colts are one of those teams I feel like they could be red hot or they could suck. And it's all going to come down to Phillip Rivers. They could literally win 11 games or they could win like 5. The Texans, I think, are going to easily be a 9-win team, maybe a 10-win team. But I could see the Titans, if Henry runs like he was in the playoffs last year and Tannehill plays like he did, I could see the Titans winning like 12 games and winning that division. What else we got? West. The West is the Chiefs' division. The Chargers. The Chargers, I think, could still be decent. I've always had a lot of faith in Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And I don't quite understand it. He always had a solid skill set. He was a decent dual threat. He took the Bills to the playoffs and was gone the next year. And I don't know. I never understood it. They benched him midway through that season for Nathan Peterman, and I was furious. And I don't know. Do I think we could see Herbert? Maybe, but I don't know. Now, I say that about Tyrod Taylor. I'm just not sure how well as a team the Chargers are going to do. Derwin James is hurt again. Breaks my heart. I think they're going to be at the bottom of the division, but I still think they're going to win probably 6, maybe 7 games. The Raiders, I think, could win 8, 9 games if they're good. I like Derek Carr a lot. I like that offense decently. Tyrell Williams is great. Darren Waller was awesome. That running back rotation they have is great. Their defense is shaky, but if their offense puts up points, it could be a good year. The Broncos, I think, are going to be interesting. Drew Lock went, I believe, 4-1 as a starter, and he looked good. He looked better than I was going to give him credit for. I could see the Broncos doing pretty well this year, but the Chiefs, I just think they're such a powerhouse, and they didn't really lose any talent outside of Chris Jones. I don't see how the Chiefs don't win 12, 13 games again. I don't see a scenario in which. What did they go last year? Was it 11-5, 12-4? I don't see the Chiefs. I would bet money on it win no less than 11 games this upcoming season. AFC North. it's Baltimore's division. And I don't think there's going to be any kind of challenge to that whatsoever. I think the Ravens are going to go probably 12-4, 13-3. The Bengals, I don't watch college football. I know nothing about Joe Burrow. He could be really good. I just don't think the Bengals have a good enough roster to do that well. Their offense has a lot of different pieces. Joe Mixon's an animal. Gio Bernard is a good running back. Auden Tate is awesome. Tyler Boyd is awesome. They lost Eifert, which I'm kind of upset about because I've always really liked Tyler Eifert. The problem the Bengals are going to have is they don't have an O-line. They haven't had one for years. That was Dalton's biggest problem. He never got time to throw. And Joe Burrow coming in as a rookie behind that offensive line, it's just not a good mix for him. I think he's going to struggle this season because of that. And the Bengals are going to suffer because of that. The Browns, I just see them being mediocre. I just see them being mediocre again. It depends on what Stefanski brings, I suppose. Can he turn Baker around again? Maybe. I don't know. They've got pieces. Again, offensive line for them is an issue. Pittsburgh. Big Ben is another one of those quarterbacks. I was watching something earlier today, and it was talking about quarterback rankings, and people were so mad because Big Ben was ranked lower than a bunch of guys. I don't remember what his rank was, maybe like 17 or something. Here's the thing with Big Ben. He has been really good in the past. Won a couple Super Bowls. Got to respect that. Fine. And he puts up big numbers. Got a big arm, puts up big passing numbers. Fine. But what has he done recently? I know he was hurt last year, but can we talk about the season before that? Can we talk about the years that he had an offensive line littered with Pro Bowlers, Le'Veon Bell in his prime, and Antonio Brown before he turned into a crackpot? Hugely, massively talented roster. Never did anything with it. Made it to the playoffs. Choked. Lost to the Blake Bortles-led Jaguars once. I don't know. Big Ben hasn't impressed me recently. So I don't think the Steelers could be good, but they're not going to be dethroning the Ravens good. So there's that. So AFC, I've got Bills, Chiefs, Titans, Ravens. NFC. All of these divisions are going to be very, very tightly contested. I can tell you this is probably going to be a longer video. We're going to start with the East. I know we were the NFC East was the laughingstock of the NFL last year, and I think we're probably going to be the laughingstock of the NFL again this year. The problem is I'm looking at all these teams, and I don't see another 3-win season for any of them. I think each and every one of these teams is going to be better than they were last season. The Giants, Jones took a big step last year. I'm looking at him, and I'm no longer laughing at the Giants for drafting him. I see, hopefully, what they saw when they drafted him. He's got a nice connection with that other kid, Darius Slayton. No, Darius Slayton? What's the kid that was a rookie last year? His last name's Slayton. They're young on offense, and I think that could be really good for them. Their defense is it's got pieces. It's not great, but the offense I think could be pretty good. Now, how are they going to fare against everybody? I don't know. Honestly, the Giants are one of those teams I will honestly sit here and tell you I don't know. I don't know how good they're going to be. I'd have to look at their schedule and see exactly who they play to make any kind of a record prediction for them. Um, I don't know. Dallas, I, I said this last night. Dallas has a really good roster, but they had a really good roster last season, and they choked. They just flat out choked. The, the, the Eagles should not have won the division last year. They should not have. Dallas should have crushed the division last year. Dallas should have won, with the talent they had on their roster, Dallas should have won 12, 13 games and probably gone to at least the NFC title game with the talent they had on their roster. They should have beaten Philly at the end of the season. They should have beaten the Bills. There was another team they lost badly to that I remember thinking was insane. They should have been a really, really good football team, and they just weren't. Now, everybody's in the fan base, and part of me as well is going to blame that on Jason Garrett, because Jason Garrett was an idiot. He's gone. This season for Dallas comes down entirely, I think, to McCarthy. How does he handle Dak? Does Dak improve under McCarthy as opposed to what he did with Garrett? I think Dak has top 10 quarterback potential. So does Wentz. Don't even go there. Dak has the potential to be a very good quarterback. Is coaching his problem? Maybe. We will see after this year. If Dallas goes 12-4 this year, then okay. But if Dallas goes 8-8, 9-7 again, then they're going to have a serious problem that they're going to need to address. The Redskins. The football team, forgive me. I am probably going to mess that up a lot this year. It took me forever to stop saying San Diego Chargers. It's going to take me forever to stop saying Washington Redskins. The Washington football team. I read they're going with Haskins to start. I suppose I get it. He's young. He's kind of the future. I'm an Alex Smith guy. And after seeing that injury, as brutal as that was, and seeing pictures of his x-rays and kind of trying to keep tabs on that story over the years, I want to see him play really bad. And I want him to do well. Not beat the Eagles well, not Redskins make the playoffs well, but I want to see him succeed because the story there is excellent. If he plays and wins at least 4 or 5 games, comeback player of the year, 100% shoo-in, and it's completely deserved. After that injury, after being told he'd never play again, he gets it. If he plays, and I think he probably will. I'm not sure when. Again, unless Haskins comes out and lights it up and goes on a winning streak. But I don't think that's going to happen. Haskins is young. He's unproven. I get that, but I don't see it. Look, Daniel Jones' rookie year, when I watched him play, even though he was young and it was his first season, sometimes you just see it. You know, you'll watch somebody play and you think, all right, he's got it. And then sometimes you watch somebody play and you think, no, maybe not. Haskins was more on the maybe not for me. Again, first year he only played half a season. That means nothing. That could all change. But I just don't see Washington being that great this year. I think they're going to be on the low end of the totem pole again. Now Philly, I don't know what to make of Philly per se. I've got a lot of confidence in the roster. I've got a lot of confidence in Wentz. I've got a lot of confidence, actually. I'm excited about our running back core. I'm excited about Sanders and Boston Scott. Brandon Brooks, that loss hurts bad. Jason Peters is back. Jason Peters is back at left tackle. That should be interesting. Hopefully his penalty numbers stay down. The defense, I think, is going to be interesting. I'm excited about the defense. I will freely admit this, and if anybody actually watches this video, I could catch some shit for this. I was totally okay with letting Malcolm Jenkins walk. Totally okay with it. Does the man deserve to get paid? Yes. I just didn't want to pay him. I'd rather him go somewhere else and get his money. And I'm glad he went back to the Saints because, again, I'm a sucker for a good story. And that's a pretty good story. I'm confident in our safeties. I've always been high on McLeod. I think Jalen Mills could be really, really good at safety. I might actually make another video about Mills separately rather than make this a 45-minute fucking video. And the Will Parks signing was great. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to make an Eagles defense video at some point because that's stuff I want to touch on, and it would make this video way too long. I'm going to make an Eagles video after this, so I'll touch on it there. I think the Eagles can win the division. I really do. And you know what? If you put a gun to my head and said, pick between Dallas and Philly or I kill you, I'm going to pick Philly. Maybe it's the homer in me, but I really do have faith in that roster. And I have faith in Wentz, and I have a lot of faith in Doug Peterson. So, there's that. Oh, well, we're 20 minutes in, and we've got 3 divisions left. All right. All 3 of these divisions, all 4 of them, like I said, are going to be tight. The North. Stafford's back. The thing in Chicago is interesting. I know they said Trubisky's been good in practices and in camp, and his leadership is growing, and his talent is growing. I don't buy it because they said that last year, and the Bears were awful last year. Even in the games they won, the Bears were awful, and they shouldn't have been. The Bears, I think, are going to be in the bottom of that division equation. Detroit, Stafford's back. I say this every single year, but I think Detroit's got a shot. The talent on their roster, I like it. I like it. They signed the Adrian Peterson signing. I like, but I hate that Scarborough's on IR because I liked watching him play last year. Johnson's back. Their wide receiver duo is excellent. Galladay is a stud, and I love Marvin Jones. Their defense is going to be probably not great. Losing Slay is going to hurt them, but they got Diggs, so that'll help shore up the back end. Do I think they're going to win the division? No, if I was betting money on it. Do I think they have a shot? Yeah, I do, but I say that every year, and they always disappoint me. Now, who do I think is going to win the division? Green Bay was outstanding last year, obviously. But if you watch their games, they never played a full 4-quarter game. The games they lost were embarrassments mostly. That game they had against the Chargers was just straight up embarrassing. I don't know. Rodgers didn't look as good last year to me as he has in years past. Their defense kind of bailed them out, I think, a lot. Because their offense was like they'd come out, they'd put up 21 points in one half, and then they'd shut down, and they'd win the game like 24-20 or something. That's not sustainable. And if they play that way again this year, I just don't think they win. And I just don't think they win as much. I have the Vikings winning this division. I think it's going to be close. I think the Packers are going to make a solid run at it. I think Detroit will be in that mix somewhere. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Kirk Cousins last season. I really am. Losing Diggs hurts, but they got young talent. The rookie kid, B.C. Johnson, looked excellent. Thielen's still around. Their running back core is absolutely insane. They could honestly run the ball 40 times a game and be perfectly fine because all four of their backs are nutty. Um, the Vikings win that division. That's what's happening in my mind. Now the NFC West, I could see the NFC West sending 3 playoff teams this year. The Cardinals, I think, are going to make a big jump. I liked what I saw out of Murray last year. They got Nuke Hopkins now. They still got Larry Fitzgerald. David Johnson's still hanging around. Their defense is another one of those. They kind of kicked in at the end of the season. They looked really good. Patrick Peterson's still an animal. Chandler Jones is a monster. They just extended Buda Baker. I think their offense is going to take a big step this year, and I could see the Cardinals being really good. The Rams, I think, again, they could be good. A lot of the talent's still there. The last season was kind of what I expected from them, and I kind of expected again, honestly. I'm seeing like an 8-8 season from the Rams, but they could win more games, and that would not surprise me. Now, the 49ers, I think, I really don't know what to make of the 49ers. To me, Jimmy G was kind of an enigma last year because I was never really sure what to make of it. I remember watching a lot of the games thinking some games he looked really, really good. I think the one game he had like 5 touchdown passes and he looked like an animal. But other games I just remember watching and thinking, oh, okay, he's kind of coasting on the running back talent, of which that team has plenty. I don't know. I could. The 49ers are one of those teams I could see receding a bit on offense, taking a step back, but their defense is so goddamn good. I think they're going to be in this like Super Bowl contending mix just based off of their defense. But then again, Chicago's defense 2 years ago was absolutely bonkers, and this past season they won like 6 games. So I don't know. I could see them receding on offense some though. Don't ask me why. It's just a hunch. But their defense is still going to be nuts. Seattle, I say this every year, and people doubt them every single year. I don't understand how people keep doubting the Seahawks. I think Russell Wilson has not been in the playoffs once his entire career. That year, was it last year? No, the year before. When they released the Richard Sherman, the defense was getting cut up. The Legion of Boom was gone. Everybody was, oh, the Seahawks aren't going to be good. Their defense isn't going to be any good. Russell Wilson can't do it all by himself. And then they went back to the playoffs. And people don't. The fact that people keep underestimating Seattle is absolute insanity to me. I really don't get it. Wilson is disgusting. Pete Carroll is phenomenal. I just don't get it. The culture that team has is ridiculous. I'm picking Seattle to win that division. I think it's going to be tight. I think the Niners are going to make a good go of it. I think the Cardinals are going to make a really honest run this year. The Rams could make a run. I don't think they will. Again, call that one a hunch after last season. But I've got Seattle winning it. I think Seattle's going to win probably 13 games. And don't get me wrong, I think the Niners could win 12, 13 as well. And I think the Cardinals are going to win no less than 10. So I could see 2 wild card teams coming from the NFC West, honestly. Hell. But then again, now there's the South. And I could see 3 playoff teams coming from this division as well. I don't think the Panthers are going to be any good. Just get that one out of the way. There's not a whole lot of talent. Christian McCaffrey is obviously a god. Holy shit, this is a half an hour long. I swear I hope nobody watches this entire thing. McCaffrey's a god. McCaffrey's one of the biggest things I was wrong about coming out of draft. I thought he was going to be a scat back. He's going to be just the next Rex Burkhead or the next Theo Riddick or the next Duke Johnson. And I was dead fucking wrong about that. Outside of that, though, DJ Moore's he's got talent. He's definitely got a high ceiling, I think. But I don't really like their offense that much. And I'm not high on Teddy Bridgewater. Never have been. I don't know. He doesn't impress me that much. He looked impressive in relief of Drew Brees. I'm still mad they didn't play Taysom Hill. I think that's the brunt of some of my problems there was I was so mad they didn't start Taysom Hill those 5 games. I mean, Sean Payton called Taysom Hill the next coming of Steve Young, but then refused to play him. I was pissed. But Bridgewater looked good. Mind you, he was with a very talented roster and an incredible coach. Now Bridgewater is not with an incredible roster, and he's with a brand new, unproven coach. So, what will Matt Rule do? I don't know. I don't think I'm seeing like a 6-win season for the Panthers, honestly. The Falcons are another one of those teams loaded with talent, and they disappoint every year, and I just don't understand it. I don't know where the disconnect is. Their defense is solid, not elite, but solid. Their offense should be elite, but it just isn't. And I don't understand what the breakdown is. Is it Matt Ryan? Is it whoever's calling the offensive plays? Is it the line? Is it I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect there is, but there is a disconnect because they should not. The Falcons should not have been as bad as they were last year. Talent-wise, roster-wise, I think they could easily have a bounce-back season and win 10, 11 games. But they should have won 10, 11 games last year. So I don't know. We'll go with the Saints. The Saints are going to be really good. Their roster is loaded. Drew Brees is still there. Michael Thomas is an animal. He is not the best receiver in football. Don't give me that shit. But he's a fantastic receiver. What he did last year, gotta respect him. Kamara is still going to be there. I don't think they're trading him unless they get offered something ridiculous. Their defense is another one of those, like, not quite elite, but good and scrappy kind of defenses, I guess you could say. Their offense isn't going anywhere. I'm seeing like another 12-win season for them. The only thing, I think Breeze's arm talent isn't quite what it used to be. The accuracy is still on point, but he can't launch it anymore. Don't be wrong, I'm sure I'm not the first one to come up with this criticism, but I'm thinking Drew Brees late in the season, if he has to go play in cold weather, I don't know. I'm not sure I like that down the stretch outcome as much. But like, if the Saints go into the playoffs with home field advantage, forget it. Forget it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's the thing. I don't think Brady would be the godsend of any team. Like, if the Eagles picked up Tom Brady in the offseason, I will sit here and tell you honestly that I don't think they would have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl this season than they would if it was Wentz. I don't see a difference in outcome there. Now, do I see a difference in outcome between Brady and, say, Jameis Winston? Yes. But I don't. Brady wasn't a godsend. Now, The rest of the goddamn talent on that roster is the godsend and will be the godsend. Mike Evans is insane. Chris Godwin is coming off a stellar year. Perriman looks like he's finally going to pan out to be what Baltimore thought he could be. Cam Brate is still a beast. O.J. Howard is an animal. And they just picked up Leonard Fournette. I like their backs. I liked their backs before Fournette. They were kind of those like good scrappy, not big name backs. You know, the Peyton Barbers. Was it Peyton Barber's gone. Agumbawale, I liked. He had a couple impressive games, I thought. But now with Leonard Fournette, on paper, the offense is blatantly unstoppable. It's unstoppable. Their defense is not elite, but it's got some really good pieces. I don't know what happened to Shaq Barrett. Did they re-sign him, or did he go somewhere else? Because the season he had last year was monumental. I think the Saints are going to win the division, and I think it's going to be by a game, if that. I think the Bucs could easily win the division, but again, money on the line, gun to my head, I got to stick with Drew Brees. Now, we get to see Brady versus Brees twice this year, and we get to see Brady Rodgers again. And that's going to be, this whole NFL season is going to be exciting as hell, but that's going to be really exciting. Like I said, on paper, the Bucs should be unstoppable. But then again, the offense that Cleveland built up this past season was ridiculous, and they faltered tremendously. Now, Baker is not Brady, obviously, but I don't like to base everything off of a paper roster. But the Bucs are going to be a very good football team. I'm not sure they'll be able to top the Saints. So yeah, that's where I'm at. This is a 40 goddamn minute long video. I'm gonna put timestamps in the description. I think to just kind of guide people to their division if they don't want to watch the entire 40-minute video. I did not mean for this to be that long. See, this is what happens when I go on a rant and I haven't recorded in 6 months. So recap. NFC, I've got Eagles, Saints, Seahawks, Vikings. So to summarize, this season, I'm not making record predictions for every team. I thought about doing that, but then I didn't. I'm going to make one for Philly here later on. But down the NFL, division winners, I've got AFC East, Bills, AFC North, Baltimore, AFC South, Titans, AFC West, Chiefs, NFC East, Eagles, NFC West, Seahawks, NFC South, Saints, and NFC North, Vikings. That's where I'm at. You can come back at the end of the season and tell me how wrong I am, and we can go from there. I'll see you back sometime in the next 24 hours for a Eagles season preview / rant, and we'll talk again then. Have a good evening.